Welcome to our presentation on the upcoming software Open Source Academic Publishing Suite, in short OS Apps, for simple media-neutral publishing with automatic typesetting. The project is a joint collaboration between the University Library of Erlangen-Nürnberg and the University and State Library of Saxony-Anhalt, as well as the company SciFlow in Berlin. Its main goal is the development of an open source academic publishing suite to create various dynamic ebook formats such as EPUB and HTML, along with the PDF generation of ebooks in corporate design. The test application of the publishing suite takes place in the university presses and libraries in Erlangen, Nürnberg, and Halle. It will then be made open source to the entire publishing community, and we will also set up sustainable support and hosting through SciFlow. OS Apps is a 2-year project that started in 2021 and will continue until January 2023. It is funded by the German Federal Ministry of Education and Research with a grant of 300,000 euros. At the end of the video, you will find a slide with our contact information. We would be glad to hear from you and answer your questions. A problem that many publishers in the academic field face is a break in the publication workflow between the manuscripts that are handed in and the formats such as PDF, EPUB, or XML that need to be output. In order to offer ebooks in various formats, but at the same time in a professional design, a lot of manual work such as manual typesetting and XML tagging are necessary. Furthermore, investments in costly content management systems and editing systems need to be made. This leads smaller publishers in particular to refrain from media-neutral publishing, as too many resources are needed for it. Our proposed solution for this problem is the use of an XML-first publishing workflow for media-neutral publishing. The workflow is supposed to be lean, drawing information from a single source, a semantic HTML format. OS Apps will be an out-of-the-box cloud solution that aims to fulfill the needs of small and medium-sized academic publishers, who will be able to generate formats and formatting that match their corporate design. It is noteworthy that OS Apps is developed using already existing open source components such as Pandoc. When the development of the software is finished, it will also be made available open source. Since it is intended to be a software as a service, OS Apps will be hosted. Further developments after the release through updates are therefore possible. There are 4 main criteria that we think must be fulfilled so that the introduction of a single source publishing workflow with OS Apps can be successful. Firstly, it is important that the software is widely accepted in the target group of researchers, which is why our scientific advisory board meets on regular occasion to ensure that our developments are in line with the needs of the target group. Secondly, the introduction of this new workflow should be relatively easy. Thirdly, an integration into the publication workflow with Open Journal Systems, OJS, and Open Monograph Press, OMP, both of which are commonly used in academic publishing, must be possible. And lastly, the software must be reusable and expandable. OS Apps will be composed in a modular way. One of its components is the already developed importer. With the importer, manuscript formats such as Word and OpenDocument are fed in, and XML structures are subsequently extracted. In consequence, the format that has been imported is transformed into a semantic HTML format, which will then serve as a single source. The next component that is relevant after the import of a manuscript is the editor. Should a text passage not have been detected correctly, it can be edited afterwards using a simple user interface that does not require XML knowledge. The editor can also be used to add more metadata if necessary. Another component are the design templates. There will be several standard templates to choose from when deciding how the output format should be designed. However, it is also possible to create own templates that are in line with the corporate design and the respective publisher, with the Template Development Kit. This will require technical knowledge. There will be a documentation for publishers on how to use the Template Development Kit. Lastly, the manuscripts can be exported using either predefined or custom-made templates in various formats such as PDF, EPUB, HTML, or XML. The software will be connected to several other interfaces, amongst them Open Journal Systems and Open Monograph Press, because they are so widely used in the academic field. This will be achieved through an import plugin that is able to extract metadata from submissions automatically. Another interface connection that we are currently working on is an export function to widespread repository software such as DSpace. It would also be possible to connect to the Sciflow collaborative text editor. Other connections are currently not planned, but we are open to new ideas throughout the course of the project and could potentially add other interface connections if they are deemed useful by publishers. During the development process, we form patterns of workflow, which we then gradually support. For example, FAU University Press mostly publishes dissertations in the form of monographs, the output formats being PDF and EPUB/MOBI. A tool that needs to be considered in the workflow is Microsoft Word, since the manuscripts are usually handed in as long, heterogeneous Word manuscripts. This is entirely different for the publications of MLU. The journal Yersinia, for example, is based on OGS and DSpace, which is why these tools need to be considered especially. Furthermore, there's only one output format, which is PDF. It is evident from these examples that the workflows that already exist in publishing houses can vary greatly, and that the single source XML-based workflow with OS apps should be applicable to as many given patterns as possible. On the last slide, you find our contact information. The general email address for the project is mail@os-aps.de. If you would like to know more about or contact any of the project partners individually, we have linked to their websites. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.